Well, good evening and you're welcome to Prime Sports with me, Razak Musbao. Now let's start off with the former Black Stars midfielder, Agyemang Badu, who says that Gyan will not be fit enough for the Black Stars team ahead of the 2022 FIFA World Cup. Gyan earlier this week said in an interview with the BBC that he is targeting a return to the Ghana national team ahead of the global showpiece to be staged in Qatar. But Badu reckons he's not in a good shape for the team.
What I can say about him is that when he is not 100% fit, he will not play. Yeah. That is a fact about Gyan. And he knows his body more than anyone. From my side, I don't think he can be ready for the World Cup.
You don't think Gyan would be ready?
No.
Have you seen him recently? They say he started training at Lagos.
Yeah, by training alone and training with the club is different.
Yeah.
So this is the stage. He knows the stage more than me.
Yeah.
He has been there for 3 times.
Yeah.
He's been the captain 2014, so he knows the kind of stage it is. So training alone, 2.5 months before a tournament like this, for my experience I have, when I have even an injury for 6 months and I came back, it took me like 3-4 months before I got better.
Yeah.
So I don't think he can be ready for the World Cup. What we can offer him, if the management, or if we really have to, I think for him to be there to help with the striking side, if he can...
As a coach,
as
a striker's coach.
Yes, that would be perfect for me. That is what I think he can. But on the field to play, he can never be ready before the World Cup.
That's interesting.
Well, Agyemang Badu says that Gyan can never be ready for the World Cup. Now, another football legend, Samuel Eto'o, will be live in the studios of Joy FM and the Joy News Channel tomorrow as part of his multi-day tour of Ghana. He will be interviewed by Gary Al-Smith on the Joy Sports Link show at 12:30 to be aired on radio and TV. Samuel Eto'o is widely regarded as Africa's greatest player of all time. He arrived in Ghana late on Thursday night in his capacity as Qatar Legacy Ambassador to engage with the Football Federation, supporters and the media. He came into the country from Senegal, where he had a similar itinerary, and before then, his native Cameroon. Together with Ghana, these 3 nations are those to have qualified for the upcoming 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar from Sub-Saharan Africa. According to the Qatar Legacy team, this visit is to relay the uniqueness of their country hosting the world and to engage fans and the experiences to be had during the tournament. Well, let's still stay with the Black Stars because the Black Stars will come up against South American giant Brazil in a friendly game as part of their preparation for the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar. According to the Ghana Football Association, this is as a result of the Confederation of African Football's decision to postpone the qualifiers for the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations to enable qualified African teams have adequate preparation. My colleague Kwame Banaya has more in the following report. Well, he has seen it all, and Manchester United fans definitely have something to celebrate because this is truly a fine player. Now let's catch the fixtures that are coming up over the weekend in the English Premier League, in the German Bundesliga, in the French Ligue 1, and the other leagues. And let's start off with the English Premier League. And tomorrow, Saturday, Tottenham Hotspurs will take on Wolves, and Crystal Palace will also take on Aston Villa. Everton will play Nottingham Forest. Fulham will play Brentford. Leicester City will host Southampton, and Bournemouth will host Arsenal. Then on Sunday, Leeds United will take on Chelsea. West Ham United will play Brighton Hove and Albion. Newcastle United will play Manchester City. And on Monday, the big one, Manchester United versus Liverpool will come off. And elsewhere in the German Bundesliga, Borussia Mönchengladbach will play Hertha Berlin on Friday today. And on Saturday, Bayern Leverkusen will play Hoffenheim and Borussia Dortmund will play Werder Bremen. Augsburg will take on Mainz 05 and Stuttgart will play Freiburg. Wolfsburg and Schalke 04 will also play, and Union Berlin and RB Leipzig will also play. And on Sunday, Frankfurt will take on Cologne and Bayern Munich will visit Bochum for the final game in the German Bundesliga. Elsewhere in the Spanish La Liga, Espanyol will play Rayo Vallecano, Sevilla and Real Valladolid will play. And on Saturday, Osasuna versus Cadiz, Mallorca versus Real Betis, Celta Vigo and Real Madrid will play. And on Sunday, Atletico Bilbao will take on Valencia. Atletico Madrid will take on Villarreal. Real Sociedad will play Barcelona. And Elche and Almeria, Girona and Getafe will play on Monday. In the French Ligue 1, Lyon are currently playing Troyes. And on Saturday, Monaco will play Lens. Marseille will take on Nantes. Strasbourg will play Rennes. Angers will play Brest. Clermont will take on Nice. Montpellier will play Auxerre. Toulouse will play Lorient. Rennes and Ajaccio will play. And Lille and Paris Saint-Germain will also play in the French Ligue 1. So that's as far as the fixtures are concerned over there. We're going to switch to boxing now because the camps, Anthony Joshua has been speaking and he has sent a strong warning to Alexander Usyk, who has bulked up for tomorrow's fight. But Joshua's message to the Ukrainian is punches are not made, they are born.
No, not at all. You know, what can I say about a press conference? It is what it is. If you are into body language and psychology, then you can read into it. But that's not really my forte. My forte is boxing, and on Saturday, that's where I got to do my studying and reading. So yeah, I don't really take too much from a press conference. It is what it is. You say what you want to say, and you do your best Saturday night. That's what I'm focusing on.
There is a lot of talk that he may well be coming in slightly heavier, that he may well have bulked up. I mean, that's the first time on fight week that you've stood in front of him or stood that close to him. Did you get the sense that he has bulked up at all?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's big. But you know, bulking up, right, it's probably to help you absorb more punishment. Sometimes I don't look at it like, if you're a puncher, punchers aren't made, they're born. Well, that's what they say in boxing. So lifting weights and all that stuff doesn't really make you a stronger puncher. But it may help you absorb more punishment. But I can't speak on what his game plan is or why he's done it. They know why, and I want it to work for him because I want a good fight, innit? I want to put on a good show. So yeah, I want it to work for him.
I'm just interested in what you said at the end there. You said, above all else, I'm just looking forward to it. And you repeated that, I'm just looking forward to it. Saw some of the quotes reflecting on the last fight that deep down, perhaps you didn't truly believe in yourself that you could win. This time, as you stand here now, 72 hours or 3 days away, do you believe now that you can win? Winning
is a natural feeling. You go into the competition to win, so it's not like I didn't feel like I could win. But I feel like the competitive spirit is rised up, that energy where it's like, let's compete. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's only something that's personal to me, so trying to explain it to you, you may not understand it. Yeah, but it was different. Like, my goal maybe have been, okay, I want to stick behind my jab, but doing that, even though it was a goal, it wasn't enough. This time it's like, I don't care, I just want to win, like whatever it takes. So that might mean exerting more energy, more punch combinations, so your mindset changes towards what your goals are. So this time my goal is just about competing, like winning.
Last one, Eddie Hearn said he thinks this is a 6-round fight, that whatever happens in those 6 rounds, this fight finishes within 6.
Well, that's why the bookies are there for predictions. But for me, I'm thinking 12-round war.
Winning all that matters?
Yeah, like 12 rounds war. Anything short of that is a bonus.
Now, joining us for analysis is Joy Sports boxing expert Nathaniel Atto. Hello, Nathaniel. Yesterday we started this conversation, and of course we dealt with the monetary aspect of it. We dealt with what this really means for the two boxers, Anthony Joshua, as far as his career is concerned. You talk about Alexander Usyk relative to what is happening in his hometown and what it will mean for his people if he wins this bout. But let's talk about the game plan, because Anthony Joshua says he doesn't know the game plan Usyk is going to bring into the game, but you have followed boxing very closely for such an important bout as this. What do you think is going to be the game plan of Alexander Usyk?
Can you bring that again?
I mean,
that bout about yeah.
Yeah, what do you think is going to be the game plan of Alexander Usyk going into this bout?
Very well. Now, you do remember that in the latter part of Anthony Joshua's submission, he said something very critical, and that was that he was ready for a 12-round war because he knows very well that knocking out Alexander Usyk is almost, out of the question for a crucial bout such as this. So Usyk would want to come in, frustrating, Anthony Joshua some more. And how would he do that? He would want to bounce around a lot more. He would want to, step forward a lot more, punch a lot more, and switch around a lot more. Because when he does that, it goes to, destabilize, Anthony Joshua's move, around the ring and in the center of the ring. So that is what I'm expecting. I'm also expecting a lot of firepower from him because obviously he's used the first, installment to, sort of gauge everything that he wants to gauge about Anthony Joshua. So he knows what to do to get the job done. And so what I'm expecting from him is a lot of punch activity so that he's scoring the points from word go, so that if it boils down to, the cards where he would have an advantage, then he will be safe and good to go.
I mean, I want you to share with our viewers what Anthony Joshua's new coach, because even going into his second bout against Andy Ruiz, we saw him change his coaching team. Likewise, in the second game against Alexander Usyk, he has changed, and he's brought a very experienced coach, Robert Garcia. Now, he was speaking, and he says that they've been training Anthony Joshua to, as much as possible, knock out Alexander Usyk. Now, share with us, what does Robert Garcia bring to the table as far as this bout is concerned, as far as even Anthony Joshua being able to knock out Alexander Usyk is concerned?
A long list of world champions, have passed through the hands of, of the man, Robert Garcia. I met Robert Garcia in Arizona, in Tucson, Arizona in 2019, in May of 2019. Fantastic guy indeed. And he lives, eats, breathes, and drinks his boxing. So he brings to the table a great set of, different experiences which he wants to use to blend into Anthony Joshua's fight style. Now, for me, the fact alone that Anthony Joshua has been through 13 different sparring partners goes to tell you something about the uniqueness of the camp. 13 sparring partners. And that should just tell you that the thing about building stamina has been worked on. Now, Anthony Joshua's speciality is to make sure that almost all of his opponents are held up and are managed between the first 8 rounds.
Okay, we seem to have lost Nathaniel there. We'll definitely get him back on the line. And yes, we're definitely going to get him back on the line. This is a very important bout. It's taking place in Saudi Arabia tomorrow, and it is the part 2 of what we witnessed in Tottenham in London. All right, Nathaniel is back now. Nat, you were making a point about Robert Garcia and what he brings to the table for Anthony Joshua.
Very well. So like I was saying, I've met Robert Garcia. He's a fantastic guy. I mean, if he's been able to manage between 8 and 13 different world champions, guided them to success, then he knows what he's talking about. Now, what he's bringing to the table are all these unique set of experiences which will help to fuse into Joshua's fight style on the night. Now, we all do know that on the average, Joshua likes to deal with his opponents between the first 8 rounds. And so that is what I expect, or that is what I suspect Robert Garcia is trying to pull off in this second installment of the fight. So that, for instance, Alexander Usyk walks into one of these dirty punches, he's caught off guard. He gets one of these big rights from, Anthony Joshua, and the job is done. And that is a possibility in the sport. The only thing is that Alexander Usyk is from what we saw, he's too sharp, too alert, reflex-wise, to make such a thing happen, in the ring. And that is what is going to make this bout a very, very difficult one. If Joshua and his camp are looking for a knockout, well, let's watch and let's see how it happens. Because you see, if he's able to knock Alexander Usyk up, it's going to take his ratings, his fight analysis ratings, very, very high. Because then it will mean that he did not only just recover, but he recovered and came and did extra in the ring, just like he did against Andy Ruiz, who handed him his first loss of his career. So I'm very careful to talk about knockouts in recent days. I mean, you heard the submissions that Isaac Dogbe gave at his recent news conference, where
Okay, we appear to have lost Nathaniel again. We're definitely going to get him so that he could make his final submissions on this. All right, Nat, I think we have you back on now.
Very well. So all I'm just talking about is that you have to be extra careful when you're talking about the knockout, stories, and when you're talking about knockouts, going to knock your opponents out. Boxing has become very competitive. Fighters have become more aware of themselves and their surroundings, and so because of that, they're more alert. Like I always say, in terms of defense, Floyd Mayweather Jr. for me remains a case study and a master class. A lot of analysts of the sport, including myself, will tell you that Floyd Mayweather Jr. did not. He remains at 50-0 because he never really got hit, and it was because he decided to adhere to that master principle of protecting yourself at all times. And so that is exactly what has to happen here. Now, one of the things that bothered me about Anthony Joshua was the fact that between the 8th and 10th rounds in the first installment of the fight, there was a moment when, Alexander Usyk penetrated his guard with a big right, and he staggered backwards, took about 3 steps backwards. And that for me is very, very dangerous. And those are the kinds of things he has to avoid in this bout, because
okay, we appear to be struggling with the line there as far as Nat is concerned. Well, we need to wrap the conversation on this, but this is certainly a very big bout that is coming up tomorrow. Certainly a very big one. All right, Nat is back. Nat, let me just get your final thoughts on this. I'm going to push you to the wall to tell us who you think is going to win. Of course, I've heard some analysts suggest that as far as the heavyweight division is concerned, it's one of the divisions that you cannot easily predict who is going to win any bout because surprises do happen. But you are the man. Who is winning?
Look, it's very tough. It is a very tough call for me. For the first time, I'd want to even shift away a little bit from predicting who will win and just leave it open. But for me, I feel that going into this bout, realistically, Joshua is very much an underdog, and so I'd give him maybe like between a 4 out of 10, and like a 4 out of 10 for a win, because it's a very, very difficult one. I'm also not discounting the possibility of him getting that knockout that he's looking for, because it's very, very possible. I mean, we've seen heavyweight champions recover from, big losses. We saw, back in the 90s, we saw, the man Lennox Lewis recover from Hasim Rahman's big knockout, back in South Africa, and he came back and he defeated Hasim Rahman. So in the same way, we could see the same thing happen. Besides, he gives us a recent example on what he did with Andy Ruiz. So it is also very possible. So let's see how it turns out.
Well, let's see how it turns out, Nat says. But he says he's tipping Anthony Joshua 4 out of 5 to be able to reclaim his world titles. This is where we draw the curtains on today's edition of Prime Sports. And for more sports, do head to myjoyonline.com/sports and also join us on our various social media handles on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, Joy Sports. Be part of the conversation. Who is winning? Who is winning? And also remember that tomorrow, the big interview is coming up. Samuel Eto'o will be in the studios of Joy FM and Joy News Channel with Gary Housmith. The time is 12:30 on radio and on TV. So make sure to tune in and enjoy a wonderful conversation. Lots of conversation have taken place, but this is the real conversation with Gary Housmith on Joy FM and Joy News Channel. Tomorrow, 12:30. My name is Razak Musbah. Do have a wonderful evening and a splendid weekend.